man's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What's up, everybody? This is Dan French. This is a French Workbench podcast. Another episode we have going on here today. And I got a full studio. Actually, we're -1 today. I don't know what happened. We had somebody coming in and potentially, maybe they'll be back next week. But we got a full studio still.
He'll be in the back of a trunk. Don't worry about it.
He'll be back in the trunk.
I already gave the orders 86.
So we got Brett Jenny in here today. Want to talk with Brett. What's going on today? Brett Jenny, what's happening, buddy?
The brat, Jenny.
The brat.
I saw that
What happened?
comment.
Oh, there was a comment about you?
The brat, Jenny.
Hey, man, everybody's got to have a
I'm
villain.
a brat, bro.
Everybody's got to have a
But,
villain, man.
now that I think about it, it's kind of right. I can't really argue that. So
We also have Mr.
So I liked it.
Joe Dragon in here today. What's going on, Mr. Joe Dragon? What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Living the dream as always. Brett, I didn't get a comment. I should be happy you got a comment. That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
We were talking about you out there.
Brat, awesome, man.
So, man, we have a lot going on
Hey, it
this
don't
weekend.
matter when they don't pay attention anymore, right?
We have a lot going on this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and
2021.
2021. And
What were you guys doing in 2020?
2020, I think everybody was kind of just figuring out what's happening with this COVID thing, right?
I wasn't. I was
Barbecuing at
on,
home.
I was on the river.
You were on the
Colorado
river?
Were you?
I guess you could social distance that way, right? I mean, you're not next to anybody if you're on a boat. I mean,
We were
right?
on little tubes
Little tubes?
that were connected.
Tubing, man.
Down in Yuma, Arizona. Have you ever been to Yuma, Arizona?
No, I've never been there. Don't go to Yuma, Arizona? Why is that?
I mean, you can if you want. It's a 4-hour drive. It's you get on the Colorado River, but it's been through all like the cow fields and probably not good for your health. Especially with COVID. I don't know. It was a thing though. We had some friends. It was a good time. We
Yeah.
thought COVID was over back then.
Yeah.
Boy, we were wrong.
Well, hey, man, I grew up in Wisconsin on farm fields, and everyone goes tubing there as well.
Yeah,
And
it's
those
the thing.
rivers go through farm fields.
Yeah. Maybe that's how
So
COVID.
it's like,
It's probably how it started.
I'm still alive.
Going back.
I'm a little weird, but.
Yeah. You never gone tubing, Dan?
No, I've never gone tubing, man.
Dude, tubing is.
Yeah.
Drink
Hey,
beers, get on a
give me a
tube.
beer. Throw it over.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
dude, seriously, tubing is you get on a tube and it's like on a lazy river.
Yeah.
But everybody drinks and listens to music and parties.
Exactly.
Dude, it's awesome.
Well, dude, I went down to, what was it, Laughlin? Is that like over Laughlin over?
Yeah,
It's kind of that way. You
Yeah.
just keep going.
Yeah.
You can stop and waffle on.
Dude, it's crazy. I went down to Laughlin and there was really, I thought it would be more than what it was. And it wasn't, my expectation was a lot more, I guess. When I
It
got
was
there,
going to be bigger or what?
I just thought it was going to be a lot more happening down there. Like there was going to be a lot more partying. I mean, I guess.
When did you go?
I can't remember. It was probably like 8 years ago.
Oh, okay. So it was.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was just a quick weekend getaway type thing. Maybe it was because of the weekend, but
It's pretty hot down there.
it gets pretty hot, but it just seems like there's only so much to do. Like you can hit the river up. If you're going to do that, that's cool, right? But I don't know. I just thought it would be bigger, or for some reason, like a bigger party zone. It wasn't really a party place to me. What about you? Like I've been to what is it? Where is it at in Arizona? It's like the southern part of Arizona. It's
Mexico?
no.
Technically, he's not wrong. He said southern part of Arizona.
Yeah, he's technically not wrong.
The wall?
No, it's known, man. I went down there and I got a story.
Howell or
No, Havasu.
yeah.
Lake Havasu, man. And when I went down to Lake Havasu, it was cool because really hot, but that kind of exceeded my expectation. I thought it was going to be similar to that at Laughlin, but it really wasn't that element. But when I went down to Havasu, dude, it was a crazy scene down there. People just sitting, like they're standing in the water, drinking, partying, just on, everybody's just hanging out.
I've heard the rumors, yeah.
You've been down there?
I have never been to Havasu.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to, and then I got older and was like,
I haven't either.
You haven't been to Havasu either?
Nope.
Really?
you
No, I
you
haven't
can
really-
do Mojave down by Laughlin. It's a big lake.
Yeah.
And get a boat or go, wakeboarding and stuff. That's fun.
Yeah,
But
wakeboarding.
it's not in Laughlin. It's just a little bit north, like 2 miles.
So what do you guys typically do on a Memorial Day? Like, I mean, for me, do you barbecue? I think everybody kind of has that idea that we're going to barbecue and do some things. Like, what do you do?
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
Go, man.
Yeah,
No,
barbecue
Brett, go
beer.
ahead, man. Spit it out.
So if you don't barbecue on Memorial Day, there's something mentally wrong with you. I'm just kidding.
Why is that?
No,
Brad?
I'm just kidding because he's just associated. Baseball and apple pie. It's America, baby.
Yeah.
So whatever. I'm just kidding. So I mean, I'm sure I'm like most people. I'm gonna barbecue. I'm gonna take my Jeep out into the desert. I'm gonna tear it up a little bit. I'm not gonna see anyone. I'm not gonna hear anyone. It's gonna be heaven.
What about you, man? You do stuff. What do you do on Memorial Day usually? It's a big day I think for some people to shop or just take time off from work.
I meditate for a good 4 hours in the morning and then meander out to the barbecue. I mean, I don't know.
What do you want, man? What do you want me to do?
Like I said last year, I was at.
I got leads calling me, man.
I was at down there in Yuma. So yeah, barbecue and beer. I think
Barbecue and beer.
I don't remember every Memorial Day, but I feel like that's generally what I do.
That's what barbecue and beer, man.
What do you do?
Me, I mean, it just always changes. Sometimes it's like my parents have a barbecue at their house. They got a pool. This year we're talking about going to the lake. My parents have a...
He's a Renaissance man when it comes to Memorial Day.
Lake Mead or...
Yeah, Lake Mead, dude. It's crazy because you go out to Lake Mead and it's crazy packed.
You do go out there a lot, don't you?
I do.
Your parents have a boat, right?
My parents have a boat. My uncle has a boat. I mean, there's other people that I know have a boat. I mean, the point is we all go out there because it's a real way for all of us to get together, hang out.
Yeah. No, I get it. They do the same thing in Wisconsin.
It's a family thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just always different for us. For me, anyways, and I don't know. I think like Memorial Days, it's a way for you to kind of catch up. You got 4 days. What is it? No, 3 days off. For the average person out there that works a Monday to Friday job. So
3 days.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's Memorial Day though. Is like it seems like a lot of people come out here and party though too. Like they come out here to Vegas and hang out or just
do they more than other
yeah,
weekends?
you saw in the news the state troopers.
Yeah, dude.
Are just sitting between Prim and here, and like. They're like, yesterday they're like, we got like, I mean, it was like 300 people it was just.
They got what? Drugs? What are you talking about?
No, just for speeding. For speeding. Because there's so many people coming here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's I live on that side of town. That's over in,
South Side?
South Side, Southern Highlands. And, dude, they're just lined up.
Yeah.
And they radio in and they're like, go.
You see it? Yeah.
Go.
It's in the news.
And it's literally like they just drive. Yeah. And they're all like cops or like.
Dude, they got dudes up above, and then they got dudes sitting on the sidelines just waiting. Your turn. Boom, 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 boom.
I was once not on that road.
Whole organized.
I was, what Interstate 80 is up north.
Tax collecting group.
I was going like 10 miles over, but everybody was like 20.
Yeah.
And then like a SWAT team comes up and pulls every single car over at once and just shuts it.
Where was this at?
This was in East Reno up north on Highway 80.
They just pulled everybody over?
Yeah, and then we sat there for 2 hours. They wrote everybody a ticket because it took that long. They were, that was fun.
Wow.
I felt like it was a fundraising event for the Nevada Highway Patrol system.
Crazy as wow.
You gotta watch out, guys.
You gotta watch out. Let's talk a little bit about what you're trying to do.
It's illegal speed.
You have some stuff you want to talk about today, right, Mr. Joe Dragon here? What's going on, man? You got some stuff you want to discuss a little bit. Maybe some questions you have. What's going on in the housing market? A little bit more of a freelance show today. We're going to have some stuff we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about the hot Las Vegas housing market. Also, maybe some places to buy over list, like where are those at? We know that new homes are consistently, being built. So let's talk a little bit about what you wanted to chat about today.
Yeah. So Dan, we've talked a lot about, like you just discussed, the housing market here has been on fire.
Yeah.
And the issues getting, whether financing or getting basically the funds needed to get into the Las Vegas market. We talked about the traditional method that we have in our country is, if you need a house, you get a mortgage, you have to have good credit, all that stuff.
Right.
I want to kind of illuminate there's other options that you have if you can be creative in pulling resources together to get houses, okay? People buy a house for two reasons. Where are they? Place to live or investment,
right?
Or a combination of the two. So if you're coming into we talked last week about, the burden on actually getting to the city, things like not having cars, not having houses. And you just look, I can't afford a house or I can't afford a house that works for my family. Well, you might want to consider doing some legal tools to pull some resources. And what I mean by that, you might hear a lot of people talk about, they might have their parents co-sign a typical traditional mortgage. We all know the problems that go with that when you mix family and business. So there's other things you can do. If you, for instance, are an investor and I'm an investor and Brent needs somewhere to live, and he doesn't want to pay $3,000 for a mortgage, you can strike up a deal where, okay, let's form an LLC, a limited liability company, which really isn't difficult to do. We'll have instructions on how this company is supposed to run. Three of us will be members, and his obligation, just making stuff up, but let's say his obligation is he's going to pay $1,500 a month towards the $3,000 mortgage. We cover the difference, so what is that, $750 a piece, and we get all the equity rights when we sell, which could be 2-3 years. Everything's built in, and what you're doing is the benefit for you and me in that scenario is we're getting the equity, right? So it's just a pure investment, right? You're getting a place to live that you like, that you don't have to spend everything you have to live there, and it gives you time. Okay, I got 3 years. If that's how you set it up, you can make it any way you want it to be, right? You could have 2 years we sell, 3 years we sell, whatever we review, but that gives you time to kind of get everything together and figure out what am I going to do in these 3 years. I'm not paying market rent for the rest of the for the fair market value that you would otherwise. So I'm saving money, gives me some time, and everybody wins in that scenario. We're taking the risk if the market crashes. Hey, that's investing. You're taking that risk. That's not on you. That's just an example, right? But what I'm saying is, I used the LLC example. Another great example is, you guys know what a trust is?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's kind of a trick question because I feel like most don't. So for listeners, a trust is basically a legal concept that isn't really that complicated. And here's an example. Let's say, Dan, you got a bunch of weeds in your backyard.
Okay.
Right. And you're like, hey, Joe, I'll hire you to go clean up my backyard. Right?
Sure.
And I go, okay, I'll do it for $500. You got a lot of weeds. And you say, yeah, but I'm going to pay you that once the job's done. I go, Dan, I don't trust you. Pay me now, right? And so we have a little bit of a dispute. What we could do to solve that issue is say, hey, Brett, you say, Dan says, I'm going to give you the $500, right? And you're going to act as a trustee. When Joe comes in and finishes up all the weeds.
I'm acting as a third party neutral.
Right. Kind of like escrow.
Escrow, just holding the money.
Kind of same thing
I
like
don't
escrow.
take sides. I'm just here to hold the money until legally told what to do with it.
Right. And then I finish the weeds. I go up to you and say, hey, Dan, backyard's clean. Go inspect it. And Dan goes and looks and says, yeah, it's good. Here's $500, and I'm taking the extra $10. So you would have given $510 as a premium for doing my job. And if it's not good, you could say either finish the weeds or give it back to Dan, right? Here's my point. When you get into family relationship deals, because you hear a lot about, parents helping out their kids, getting a house either by co-signing a mortgage or something like that. What happens is, in the meantime, kids might get married. They might have this falling out about what to do with a piece of real estate that they purchased because they have different ideas. What you could do that takes all that away is set up a trust agreement. And you're basically saying, if this happens, we sell. If this happens, everything's built in there, so there's no dispute between the family members because a third-party trustee, is handling all of it, right? And I like to advise that in that kind of situation because it's kind of that thing you're missing personal with business.
So
but there's legal tools.
Does an LLC have to be set up for that?
That would be a trust agreement. It's a little complicated. What I would probably do with that is set up an LLC. But
I would say this: if you had an LLC with that, would it be easier to facilitate that property?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, say this property you want to exchange hands from this person to this person to this person. Not talking about like it being sold for this value and that value, whatever. It's like for, say, family members. I want to exchange it. I want to send it to the, ownership to transfer to this family member, and that family member wants to transfer the ownership. That would be the easiest without having to like go and record it all, everything.
Yes, because if you did an
LLC,
LLC,
I'll get to that later of why I'm asking you that when we're done with the show.
Because if you did an LLC, you would buy.
I was on to them, right?
You would buy or purchase the house or transfer the piece of real estate in the LLC's name. Okay. So it's down there at the county, it's recorded in the LLC's name. Then you can transfer ownership indirectly because you don't need to, like you said, record a document. What you can do is just say, let's say it's a 3-member LLC. So they kind of own the property 3 ways indirectly. But you could transfer your ownership to somebody else or buy off the other 2, and you don't need to record any of that. Yeah. It makes it very much simpler on that end. Does that answer your question? Or
Yeah, absolutely. And if you put all that in blockchain, it's almost like you could do a property selling it with an NFT, which is what I'm getting to.
sounds
I'll
more
show you something when I'm done
good,
here.
right?
I wrote a white paper yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, it has to do with that, though, because it's not about how can you facilitate it through an NFT.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it should be done through an NFT. It's how can you get through it legally.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I had to think about that for a second.
And you bring up a good point, because here's the thing, and all this stuff somebody basically made up.
Yeah.
LLCs, recording, whatever. They thought outside the box. They're like,
Yeah.
I want to do something simpler. And that's the kind of the beauty with legal tools is you can do that. But you're absolutely right as far as, I don't know, you can get into your blockchain later. Well,
It's just just a basic.
Well, let's talk a little bit. So, Joe, what do you know about what's going on in the housing market? You know it's hot. We talked about it just now. And I think everybody wants to kind of get everybody's take on where they're at mentally with buying a home, or is there opportunity to buy a home? So, we talk about this a lot on the show. What do you think right now with the housing market? I know we talk about it. What about financing as well? Because I think a lot of people want to know what rates are doing, where things are headed. What are your thoughts?
I don't think rates have gone up, have they?
No, they didn't go up.
Stayed an average, right?
Well, it's up and down. I mean, I get a lot of volatility, right?
So let me ask you this. Even if rates went up to what people consider, like, what would you consider the rate getting raised to before it's making like a major difference, right? Because to me, it's like, hey, listen, man, if you're buying a $400,000, $500,000 house and you're paying $150 more, that's more, but more, that's not going to really shake people too much. But if you're getting $300-$400 more, then I think that, what would be to you, how much higher does it have to go?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm a lender, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
So, right. So, but what I'm going to say is I'm maybe a little bit biased in the sense that maybe I look at it as a different
so what do you notice people react to the most? Let me put it that way.
So I see that people react to even slightly higher rate, even if it's an eighth of a point higher.
Yeah.
They start getting and retracting.
But I noticed that too, but here's what in my experience, here's what people do. Oh my God, the rate's going higher. Oh my rate's going higher. And then like couple months go by and they realize, oh, it doesn't even really affect that much. And then they're like, cool with it. And then they raise a little bit higher and it doesn't really affect. And they're like, oh my God, and then they realize it's not a big deal. And
yeah,
I do new homes too. Like I get a lot of people that do new homes. Everybody, the idea out there is that lenders, if they go and find a new home, that they're not going to work with their lender that they originally chose because they're going to go and try to use the builder's lender. And one of the things you have to look at is it's not just about rate and it's not just about incentives. You look at the builders today, and I have way more opportunity to try to gain that business because what's going on is they go to the builder's offering very little incentive. They're not giving enough.
They're trying to give you reason to not use them almost at this point.
It's crazy
because they have so much people backed up on like a reserve lot. They've got 30 people and they're trying to like, what can we almost do to discourage people? Or that like we're only getting the people who really, 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 really effing want a lot.
Absolutely. No, it's true. I had somebody yesterday.
Same thing with co-brokes. They're taking away co-brokes.
Yeah.
For realtors. I bring someone in the door, half of them were like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'll tell you a story about it. So yesterday,
it's a way to discourage it.
I had somebody come in and they talk to me and they're like, you know what? I have incentives, right? And they're very small incentives. The real estate agent, they're not paying realtors anymore, these builders. They're paying them very little money.
Yeah.
Where's the motivation to say, you know what? Let's go to a new home build and go that route. I'm not saying that that's not the way to go, but there's less and less motivation. One, to use their lender. The other motivation is less motivation is for the realtor to take those buyers to them because what if they found a home, an existing home, or something outside of that? Then maybe they're getting paid
I get
better.
people going on both. I say, I actively speak with the builders every single week and see what they have coming up and all this and that. And I can tell you, here's where we're at with the builders as of this week. But let's get you going on resale. Keep in mind that everything that I'm sending you right now today might not be homes you necessarily like that much because keep in mind, all the good ones are selling in a day or two. I'm just sending you this search today.
Yeah.
So now anything that's awesome that hits the market in the future, we can be on, but odds are anything you're seeing right now are the leftovers.
So I'm hearing you guys right. The motivation to build new homes is not good. Both from buyers and sellers and construction.
I mean, listen, A lot of people are hating on the builder. I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, it's simple supply and demand, right?
Yeah, we're just talking about the market. I'm not blaming anybody particularly.
So I think the builders are, they're frustrated too, man. It's like I know some of the sales managers at the different builders, and they're working 7 days a week on their days off. They're like, it's crazy. So
in the summer,
yeah, and the builders themselves are like, dude, they can only get permits so fast on new land. They can only, because now you're talking about dealing with government. We know how quickly they work. So it's, man, that's kind of just, it is what it is right now. You just got to kind of say, here's my game plan and be persistent like anything else in life. If you want something, you just do it until you get it, man.
Yep.
Now, it's interesting when you're talking about buyers getting scared with an 8th percentage rate on their mortgage. Are people not educated and don't understand that that's over the long term nothing? Or what's the reason for that? They just feel like they're getting left out or something?
Well, I think it depends on the market. The market shifted, and we're in a market now, like he said, supply and demand. And I think because they know that buyers are willing to just show up at the builder spot, right? Because there's nothing out there on an existing home. You call a realtor, they have nothing, right? It's like, hey, there's some properties, we talked about it, we're going to go over this here shortly on a market update, but there's some properties on the market, but there's not a ton of properties to choose from. So it might be easier for a buyer.
Example, everybody out there, before the show started, Dan and I were on the MLS, which we'll get to, and he said, how many homes do you think are on the market right now in Summerlin?
Yeah.
In all of Summerlin, you know how many active homes on the market right now? 125. In all of Summerlin, listed on the market, and 36 of those out of 125 were above $1 million.
That's right there. The market's not going down.
It's stupid.
The market's not going down.
How many were in Providence?
26. Providence and Skye Canyon.
Providence, I did the same search for resales on the market right now in Providence and Skye Canyon, and there are 26 homes on the market there. Period.
Yeah.
And all from 355 or 360?
The lowest was 340, I think.
340 was the cheapest.
Wow.
To what, 750?
I think 750.
Yeah.
There's not $1 million homes out there.
No.
Those are your family.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's the fact that it's
crazy, dude. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at the market right now and you say, well, it's hot, we all know that the market's really, it's not going to go anywhere. We don't think that the properties are going to drop anytime soon.
Dude, it's just so stuck up right now. Not stuck up. It's just like clogged up, man. Yeah. It's like,
well, and you compare the last time the market got hot like this. You guys remember? I remember because I was up in northern Nevada, right? You would see these communities go up with nobody in them.
Yeah.
Right. No, they were just doing it for investment. It's completely different feel. You're talking about real demand.
I just did a video because I had someone on Twitter contact me about, they're like, wow, I'm kind of pissed right now. I'm young. I'm trying to buy a house, and how's the market different than it was, blah, 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 2007. And like, listen, man, if people contact me personally and like honestly aren't a dick or whatever and want to know, I'll provide all the free info.
Yeah.
Because whatever, man. And I did like a series. I did 2 different videos of talking about it because it was a lot easier than to try to type it all out.
Right.
And I talked about that. It's like, how are they're completely different.
Yeah.
Like people keep on wanting to make a comparison, but you can't.
Right. And you guys heard stories of your grandparents, right? After the Great Depression, stuffing money in the mattress, right? Because they went through it. They had some PTSD from it.
Yeah.
I got friends. I didn't buy a house back then. I was too young, but I got a couple friends who did, right? And it crashed. They lost a bunch of money, and they're stuck on that mentality that, oh, this thing's going to crash, and they're scared. What that means, though, it's kind of the opposite of a bubble, right? A bubble's when everybody's all in.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not going on. People are still suffering, which I don't blame them. Like, it affects you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a different mentality. It's a different type of market. And I think it's going to keep going up because we have the demand from California and we just don't have supply. Yeah. Like you said, back then, they just were building to build. Today, 2 years ago, people, when we had that more demand, were reluctant because of that PTSD from 08, right? Yeah. Investors were like, oh, I don't want to do this again. That's the big difference, and that's why we're in this hype that we're in now.
Yeah, and I also think that people are doing their own research too. Like when you go out and you look at all this hype, you look at all this stuff. They're scared, right? So if I'm scared and I'm looking at the online information,
right.
I get a lot of people now just Googling my name, Dan French, or Googling Vegas Loan Guru, whatever it is, and they're just like, hey, who's a lender in Las Vegas? Who's a realtor in Las Vegas? And sometimes they just pop up, my information pops up, and it's like, hey, I'm going to call this guy. And I'm like, how did you find me? And they're like, oh, I just, I did my own research. I went online. Yeah. I watched your YouTube.
People do all the research now. I mean, it's,
yeah.
That's the thing. By the time people contact me, I don't need to like educate them on really anything. They,
Yeah.
Other than if they're from out of state and they've never lived here and like they don't know what's happened to the market in the last year. Mm-hmm. But other than the prices, it's like they know how to look for information. They know how. That's like, think about it. Especially during COVID, what do, man? Everyone's on their computer, just like killing time.
Yeah.
People love to be a housing detectives, man.
Yeah. Are you a nice real estate guy, or are you one of the mean ones? I got to start.
Depends who you ask.
So I bought my first house with my wife 2 years ago, right? And we were at the time she had a house, she sold it. We were renting a house for a year, and then. Right next to that house, there was a for sale sign.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm like, oh, I should probably get a house. So I called the number, naively, like, hey, talk to somebody. I want to look at this house. It's next door because I'm kind of lazy. I just want to look at this one, right?
Yeah.
This guy says, oh, yeah, what are your goals? What are your long-term goals? What kind of house, what kind of money you make? You want to, like, look in this area? I'm like, no, dude, I want to look at this house.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Right next to me.
Yeah, I'm not like that agent, dude.
And so this gets better. So then the next thing is like, let me set up a call. We set up a call with him and my wife, and he just starts acting. I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk to you for an hour. I want to get in this house. Yeah. And so then my wife's like, I know this other person. She helped me out last time. Call her. Yeah. We'll get this done. And so then I felt like I was breaking up with this guy because he kept like sending me emails and sending me text messages. And I finally,
that's just realtors. You just gotta put them in their place.
I finally sent a text. So I'm like, hey, dude, man. Sorry, but you're not for us. And then I don't check it. I get this email. Basically accused me of, he's like, look, you let your wife walk all over you like that and dominate you. I know who wears the pants and all this other stuff.
What?
Wow.
Whoa. Are you serious?
Yeah, I still have the email.
Dude, if anyone talked that shit to me, I would be over at their office, dude.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah,
I still have the email. It was insane.
And here's the thing. What a waste of time on his end.
I'm like, is that how he gets clients? I'm like, so confused. Who responds to that? If I talk to a client
that's
like
that, with like short man syndrome or something, dude. Was he short? I got a feeling he was
short. I think he was also bald. He had like a suit. I never met him in
class
person.
for gym class growing up. We know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to throw any names out. We don't want to hurt anybody's name out there. But look,
I don't even know his name, but I have the email and I'll read it.
Well, here's what
that's crazy, dude.
Here's what I look at I look at a lot of times
like, bro, you're such an energy vampire, and we haven't even like worked together. Yeah.
I was like, oh, you signed me up, insult me again. What else you got? I'll spend some more money.
We know who wears
the pants. Well, let me say this, okay?
Wow.
A lot of realtors out there, egocentric, right? Would you say? In some ways,
100%,
right?
And it's because I know Brett, I know that other guy.
Well,
so
yeah,
100%.
Here's what it is: is that you're in the business of like calling leads, you're in the business of grinding, but it's like when you get a little success, sometimes that goes to your mind a little bit, right? I think everybody's human.
Oh, it does to everybody.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
I think it's humans.
And so I think maybe with that situation, it's like maybe he's like, hey, you know what, man, this has worked on other people. I'm showing that, hey, I'm confident.
No,
how could that work?
Dude, I think when you're, he just doesn't understand humans.
Yeah, but
he doesn't understand like boundary and like he just. I think that guy probably has a difficult time in a lot of areas in his life.
Well, look, I'm not going to say everybody's that way, but
I'm just saying.
I do think success sometimes goes to people's head, regardless of what industry you're in. And I'm not trying to put out there that it's only real estate agents. I'm just saying in this case,
attorneys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen,
absolutely.
We've had this discussion before because we both, and I've had my share of people that I've seen go from nothing to something and just go off the charts crazy.
Yeah,
and I think all success does is make you become more of who you already are.
Absolutely.
That's it, dude. If you were a humble person before and that's how you view yourself in life, you'll be even more humble, even more quiet. If you're a dick, you'll be super dick.
Yeah, and I think too, like when you start to get to that point, right, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna call you and be that way, right? Like I'm just, hey, what are you doing, right? Like just like as you explained it.
Yeah.
I think it's weird because I think a lot of people they don't have self-perception, and it's just they're in it and they're attacking a little bit, or they're just selling. And I think real estate agents sometimes overstep their boundaries. Maybe that was the case here, and I don't know. Like
You definitely overstepped this boundary.
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of realtors where I've worked with people in the past, and they've said, "Oh, here's how a realtor was in the past," and I'm just like, "Wow, man!" Like, there's, it comes down to how you conduct your business, because it's really up to you on how you want to conduct your business.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, there's nobody above you that.
and when that happened, my wife's like, leave a review or something. Like,
it's not worth it.
Then it's just even wasting more time on someone that's not. I'm not going to need benefit
something's
out of.
bothering him. So,
Yeah.
other people are going to figure it out.
But
so
I gotta
don't
admit,
want-
man, if someone took that tone with me, like, I would just be like, dude, let me tell you something. I would.
I thought it was so over the top that I was just laughing.
I know. I kind of know what you mean. I know what you mean.
mean.
It's one of those. Well, that's the thing. Like, I had this realtor a couple weeks ago. He was like threatening, if your seller does this, I'm gonna sue. I mean, basically, he didn't understand the contracts.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, normally when people come at you this way, you get pretty upset. And I was like, I'm so unthreatened by this guy, because he clearly has no clue like what he's doing. And you can tell how long someone's being a realtor by their license number. And he had a really, I'm just like, he's no threat. So I don't really.
And I'll tell you
It was
something.
kind of funny.
As an attorney, I get this request all the time, right? There's some dispute, some contract, somebody owes somebody something, right? And people watch way too much Boston Legal or Law and Order, whatever it is they're watching. So they call me up and they say,
Law and Order.
They say, look, I want you to be a bulldog. I love that word. Be a bulldog and go after this guy, super aggressive, and write this really aggressive letter. I'm like,
Say, I want you to be a bulldog.
I'm like, if you want to pay me to do that, fine. But let me tell you, when I get a letter like that, I know your case sucks.
Yeah.
Because you're just blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? You're sputtering off. Show me the facts. Show me you don't have it.
Yeah.
You think this
I
threat's
had a
going
letter
anywhere?
like that written to me one time by an attorney.
It has the
and I
complete opposite effect.
Yeah, I can like, and my attorney right away was like, "Dude, this guy doesn't have shit because
Yeah.
he said something."
It's this.
Yeah,
Well, and I
he's
brought
like,
this-
he's like, when they send you a letter like that, he goes, "Dude, if they have something on you, they don't send a letter like that. They send you the fucking evidence or like,
Right.
or,
It's like
or
Teddy
something,
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
Keep your mouth shut. Carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Quit puffing your chest.
exactly, man.
I think too, it's like, like we talked about this, Brett. It's like being a real estate agent. You have to really represent that client. You have to really represent.
You do.
There's certain key points, but you have to be likable. You can't just be a guy that's just or a girl,
You got- you
whoever it
gotta-
is,
you
come
got-
in and
I
just
mean,
be.
yeah, it's like
"Dude,
anything,
Let me
dude.
pop my collar. It's my
just,
way.
It's just managing people and knowing, like, right. So, there's a lot of things that my clients will choose to do. That's not my suggestion or my advice, but they're the
Yeah.
client, right?
Right.
It's their house. It's their money. I'm just
What do
here
you,
to
what
say,
do you think the number one
so-
thing is? What do you think the number one thing is for a client where they feel that trust is there, and then it's that deciding factor where it's like, I'm going to use you? Because I'm sure that
If you can prove to them, if you can say something or show them or prove them in some way, shape, or form that you put their decisions above your own, that's what'll make them
100%.
100.
It's all about exactly.
Hey, listen, this. You'll say something to them, and they won't even like bring it up. But you'll say, "Hey, just so you know, take notice of this and blah blah blah. Just so you know, that's not to any benefit of me because it's actually gonna. But I'm gonna let you know this is probably gonna affect you down the road." People like that's what they want, man. At the end of the day, people just want somebody they can trust that they feel is on their side and representing them, and you can't do that without trusting
Then you have
them.
realtors that are competitive, where you look at it and you go, they got golf tournaments for realtors. A lot of people are friends that are realtors, but I think sometimes there's people that were like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to like put myself in that sphere of other realtors. What would you classify yourself and most realtors? Do you think a lot of them just kind of work together to try to create business? You obviously don't want to piss somebody off.
I mean, you
right?
don't. Everybody fends for
Especially this
themselves. Everyone fends for themselves. But I will say that if you produce, you run in the same circles. Like any realtor who produces knows the other realtors that produce.
So is it more like a clique?
No, it's just it's a matter of kind of what you're getting ahead of time, right?
Okay.
Which is refreshing. Because there's so many different personalities in real estate, and everybody's basically you run your own business the way that you see fit for the most part. So that could be multiple different business plans, multiple different personalities. And so if it's someone seasoned, someone who's done deals, you've probably worked with them Or you know somebody that has, and you're like, okay, this realtor, they're cool, they get it, da-da-da-da. Like, you understand they still have to do what they have to do to represent their client. And they understand you have to do what you have to do to represent your client, right? So it's never a conflict of that. It's just a matter of you want, if you're going to do a deal, and same thing in your business, you want the other side to be wanting to do a deal with you too.
Right. Right.
You don't want it to be one-sided because it's pulling teeth, or you don't want to deal with an asshole because it's like pulling teeth.
Right. You move
That's basically.
right.
I mean, do you deal with the same stuff with your being an attorney? Do you have the same things that happen where one attorney does that or represents a certain client and they come in with that mentality or that expectation? You know what I mean?
Mentality?
Just that, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit egocentric, if you want to call it, or just, just like that email. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, yes. And the problem is it hurts all the sides.
Yeah.
It's all the sides.
Yep. That's the problem with that shit.
And you got to, I can't force the opposing client to do the different opposing attorney, and obviously not going to take my word for it, but I'm like, this guy's pulling in the wrong direction. He's pulling all of us in the wrong direction, wasting time, money, effort, all those other stuff because, and it is an ego strength thing going on with I'm just going to bury you.
Because you know your business enough to know when someone's pulling an ego trip and when they're just doing what they have to for their business.
What do you mean? Well,
like you on the other side,
right?
Like you know when things are being done out of ego, man. You know your business enough to know when something's being done in action in that business.
And the attorney I have the most respect for is the one that like you said, knows the role
Glenn
of
Lerner?
What you're doing. I never met him.
I'm just kidding, dude.
But knows what they're doing.
It's got flavor
for their client, right? Like we like you said in the real estate, you represent your client's interests, not and attorneys that don't get that, it makes it so. I had a DUI case way back in the day, like 4 years ago, actually, not way back. I got all the evidence suppressed, right? Because I'm like, you didn't have a right stop. We go to court, we fight, we got it suppressed. And the prosecutor, had this ego. I'm not dismissing the case. Technically, he could have charged him if he did a whole bunch of investigation, basically go to the party where he was at and get witnesses saying he was drinking, right? But I knew he wasn't going to do that. Well, there's a little rule in our society says you have a right to a speedy speedy trial, which is 3 months, by the way. And he hadn't set it for trial. So he calls me up and goes, hey, I'm going to want you to agree to reckless. I'm like, why would I agree to reckless? So I threw the evidence away, right? He's like, okay, well, how about excessive speeding? It's like, send the offer over. He sends it over, and then he still doesn't set it for trial. I wait about 2 weeks after his deadline to set for trial was, type of a little motion to dismiss based on violation of the Constitution. Send it to him, say, look, I don't want to file this because it's going to embarrass you. But get rid of this case, right?
Yeah. Like, dude, I'm trying to send you a warning shot. I don't want to,
He calls me up, starts screaming at me, right? And it's like,
what? I didn't think attorneys got personal like that.
And he's like, what are you doing? Why did you, we had a deal. I'm like, no, you sent me an offer. And he's like, why didn't you set it for trial? You want me to set my own client to prosecute my own client? I'm like, dude, I want to give you a little heads up. This is what defense attorneys do.
Yeah. like, dude, I'm paid to legally give you a heads up. This is what defense attorneys do.
He's like, all right, I'm starting to figure that out. I'm like, you should have figured that out like 2 years ago and during ethics class.
Dude, it's nothing personal. You're legally up. Like, same thing with me, man. I have clients all the time that make decisions that is by no means the easiest way for me to get the deal done and but I don't care. Because I'm there to represent them, and I'm dealing with the other side that says, yeah, but I said, you're right, but it doesn't matter because here's where my client's at, and here's what they want, and let me know.
And
I mean,
to answer your question, Dan, I mean, it just frustrates the whole thing, and it makes everything worse.
It does, man.
Let's look at the marketing side of it. So you look at Knockveed, you look at a lot of these places, I'm going to say real estate offices, Glenn Lerner, places like that. They really just market. You don't ever work with that individual,
Are you
that
talking
attorney.
about the attorneys?
Yeah, because if you look at the billboards, it just seems like it's about
They've
who
got
can
like
mass
70 attorneys inside that
right.
firm.
Who can
They're not
mass
doing
market? And I think a lot of real estate offices and real estate agents and teams do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think they lose sight of representation, and they lose sight of, is the client getting the service and the information needed. For me, I always look at a barometer of, well, what are my clients saying about me? So I go back and I look at it, and there's surveys that come out. And I'm not saying every survey is great, but for the most part, I'm getting great information, feedback, right? Communication. because I think I'm in it, right? And there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm in the game, right?
In it to win it.
In it to win it. Because when you look at these attorneys, though, they're looking at just leads, real estate agents, leads. And it's just about, are they representing them on a one-on-one basis? I understand it's probably extending.
No.
You can't extend out too much, right? Or overextend. So you have to have people, but.
I mean, they're not even handling the cases.
Right.
They have an associate. I mean, I practice one thing in mind. When a client contacts me, if I represent them, that I leave them in a better spot than before they and if I don't feel I can do it, I'm saying I'm not taking the case.
Right.
Because I just don't practice that. I'm sure you guys, kind of same sort of idea.
Is that the same for you, Brett?
Yes.
See, and that's where I come in. And it's like, you know what? I'm looking at this situation and I'm like, well, you got all this marketing going on. You got people that are out there, and I don't know what it is, but I think people lose they lose the concept of what did they got in the game? What did they get started?
They doing?
What are they doing? Like, what did they get in it? What is the reason for it? And I hate to say it, but we're still in service. We still do a lot of things. But I think there's a lot of stuff out there within real estate, within most businesses that have misrepresentation or maybe a little.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think there's a big deal about that. So let's talk about the market, Brett. I want to bring up the market here. So we have a lot of overvalued homes, and there's some that's not. Okay, go ahead.
Triggered.
Why
do you say overvalued homes?
Well, because we all know.
That's the most common triggered reaction.
Yeah, that's common trigger.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of overvalued or overpriced homes on the market right now. And
why do you say
I think
that?
he's asking why. Yeah.
let me explain. Let me explain. Because if
the demand is 10 times greater. How are you going to tell me it's overvalued?
Because if you go
when
into,
things overvalued, people don't buy it. If
Right.
people are buying it, how's it overvalued?
So let's talk about that. So do you think that there's a price point of, let's say you go out and you have an existing home that's on the market, and we all know that it's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 above. Do you think that
What do you mean above what?
above asking price? So
That they're getting for it?
Yes.
Oh.
So here's my thing: is it overvalued, or is it just, hey, this is what somebody's willing to spend, so it's not really overvalued?
It's relative.
Are you asking whether the listing price is overvalued or what it's selling at?
What it's selling at, because when it originally, like for instance, there's a lot of
So if it's selling for 40 grand over, it sounds like the list price was a little low. No, I'm just kidding. Here's what I'm saying. It's all relative. Because the people that are buying it, it's exactly what they want for the transition that they're making in life. And with the value they're going to get out of it for the years to come, it's more than worth for them to pay that money right now. Not to mention that if they're coming from Cali, it's twice the home for half the price they've ever seen. So if they're going to be here for 10, 15 years and move their life here, what is 30 or 40 grand over on a $600,000 property in 10 years, bro?
Well, let's talk about this. So
I agree.
Let's talk about this. You have
like that's their concept. I'm not saying that that's for everybody.
But Dan, I mean, you may be saying, I guess the difference looking at what the price is 10 years from now versus 1 or 2 years. Are we going like this, in other words?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at 1 or 2 years, then same thing with crypto. I'd say don't do crypto.
So what locations, if you, and I'm not trying to like put you in a spot, but what locations?
Oh, you are, man. I'm one step away from
coming across.
Straight jacket.
So where would you, like if you had clients come in and say, Brett, where is the certain areas, where is the certain areas that I need to buy or I would like to see about buying? Where's the existing homes? We see there's 125 in Summerlin.
I would say most people don't come to me and say, where do you think I should live? They say, here's where I want to live.
So they don't have a map lined out that says this is what I want in a home.
For features in a home, yes. But they're usually pretty good about the areas that they want. Now,
which is what?
Some are more specific. Some might say, hey, I want Summerlin 89135, and others say, I'll take anything in the northwest all the way to the southwest.
Yeah.
But,
aren't they driven by location though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they pretty much have an idea of where they want to be. For location, it's just a matter of what they can afford and what they want, and where you can get that at what areas.
So would you say the highest demand's Summerlin? I feel like it's always been Summerlin.
100%.
But I got a question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you guys think that the most undervalued spot in the city is at? That has potential it's below, has potential to move up higher than the other?
Southwest.
Out there by where?
Between north of Blue Diamond and south of 215.
Okay, so that's your advice. You want to buy somewhere that has the most value.
That area, because a lot of that, and the closer you get to Summerlin, probably even more so, because people want to be in Summerlin, and when they can't afford to live in Summerlin, they go to the next closest area, which is right outside of there.
Right.
I have a second thought on that. I do. I think that
You're wrong.
When you look at the Nellis Air Force Base, they're talking about moving that out of there. We just saw that there was a crash.
Really? I didn't hear that.
I saw that, dude.
There was a crash recently, but there's housing all around it. They're talking about
when was the last one? 60, 70 years ago? I mean,
I'm going to tell you why. If you look at where that's at, they're talking about having a road go through there, and that there's going to be other things around it on the east side. Right,
right
east side
by
of Vegas.
the track,
right, and it's a little bit further in.
Yeah,
I would say
right.
south.
Yeah.
But they're talking about building a lot of different things, and I think it comes down to what is building or what is the options.
dude, you
of building.
really? I don't know, man. You think they're gonna move a frickin'
That's like
National Air Force Base,
And that's
because they want to put up urban development around
that's
there?
one of the biggest Air Force bases in the country.
Yeah, I'm
isn't it?
assuming that the government has some
They
kind
might
of domain
though.
over.
They might because there's a bunch of room. Like you have a
There's
valley
a bunch of
over.
room. I'm
Yeah,
just saying this
don't
is
get
the
me
rumor.
wrong. Well,
It might be
I mean,
outdated
and how
and all
long has
that.
Nellis been there?
A long
Forever.
time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Before Las
saying, man.
Vegas.
I think like a lot of them that got purged back in the day, that's already been done.
Let's just say if you were in Las Vegas when Nellis was first built, it would have been felt like miles and miles away.
Yeah,
It
like
would have been an outpost. Now it's all connected. And
they used to sit there and watch them drop nuke bombs, dude. That's how far.
which happened like 80 miles that
Yeah.
way.
I just think though you got to look and
Hey,
say,
sit in the
well,
pool and watch
is there a
mushroom
place?
cloud.
Is there a place where there's growth, meaning that they're going to put money into that area? Because it seems like when they start building malls, shopping
Yeah.
centers, things like that, those
Well,
areas.
that's what because when I bought in Providence 2 years ago, they had just the only thing that was out there was that Smith's.
Yeah.
And so my idea was
Yeah.
they're going to build around this, which
They're going to.
have, and guess what? It's gone up.
You know,
also
I think that's probably the other area I would say would be Northwest Skye Canyon area.
well, they're going over into
Yeah, the only problem that I hear from buyers, and personally, I don't think it's an issue, and personally, I think it's, is that they feel it's just a little too far out with things right now.
I was concerned about
but I
that.
tell them it's all going to be filled in the next 3 to 5
yeah,
years.
I was concerned, but I don't even notice it.
I'm
It's
just
20
saying,
minutes to
right
downtown.
now, that's why I would give probably the Southwest an edge over that. But Northwest is probably right there, if not in a couple years.
What about
better.
straight north, like Aliante area? I got my eye on that, too.
Aliante area is fine too, man. It's just it says North Vegas, and a lot of people don't like the tag North Vegas on there.
Yeah, but I think
North
that's
Vegas
changing now.
It is. I'm just telling you how it
Yeah.
was. So, and personally, I think North Vegas is fine, man. It's all new. You're going to get a really good bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to probably get your best bang for your buck in North Las Vegas, period, hands down.
Well, why does areas grow and why do they become more valuable or more valued? Because new,
Yes.
and there's new product, there's new buildings, there's new infrastructure, right? There's new things that are built around it. So even if you have a bad area, if there's things around the outside skirts of that, and then you also have internally, they make maybe like
Here's the
plan.
thing, people, North Vegas took a bad rap for years, but Las Vegas is still growing, and we still have, especially in that area, we still have a lot of desert to go. There's a lot of things that can be done and are being done right now to make North Las
Summerlin's
Vegas.
basically tapped, right? I mean, you've got
Yeah.
those expensive ones getting built,
And
right
then
up
you got
by
to the
Red
mountains,
Rock.
and then you'll be done.
Then that's National Park.
I'm going to get Brett on here. He's going to show us a little bit on this MLS. He has access to this, so we're going to go over this real quick. Brett,
Families.
so let's do this,
Matrix.
man. Push
Neo.
this.
I'm Neo
Let
on
me see
this.
this real quick. You're Neo on
We got
this.
some
Next time,
lines,
you
numbers.
need to keep your black coat hanging on the coat hanger. So I
We
can put
got
it.
digits. We got
So,
symbols.
We got
What do
digits. We
Brett?
got numbers.
Let's take a look at this, Brett.
All right, see this property here.
All right, so
what
give
kind
us-
of property you looking for?
Give us a scoop, Brett. What's going on here,
Let me
man?
put on my glasses.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of areas. We're trying to get the market update on a medium price home out here. Last time I was talking about it, it was about 382.
So it's gone up.
It's
Where's
got
that?
it's
Here.
gotten gone
Where's
up,
the
you know.
mouse? Here we
So
go. Mouse.
I think
Whoa, it's
with
not-
the you got that, Brett.
It's not coming over on the there.
You got it. All right, let's go.
It's
up here.
giving me. Look, it's not going up, dude. Oh, oops.
You had it upside down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take a look, man.
So what are we looking at, man? What are we looking at?
I don't know. Let's take a look at how many
there.
homes are on the market altogether. Let's look at
many
that.
In the
markets
entire
total?
valley?
In the entire valley. Let's see what people have to work with on an
How many
existing home.
homes are in the entire valley? What
Yeah,
are we
like
looking at?
as existing
so
home. Yeah.
we're not going to do
What is that,
condos
like
or
a million?
townhouses. We're just going to
No.
do single family.
a million.
I don't know. There's 200 people here,
Kids.
right?
I would say 2,000,
2,000 houses total.
and that's low. I would say
2,000.
2,000 existing homes. What do you think?
More like probably 80,000.
Existing homes for sale?
Type in up here, man.
What do you want to type?
Go to
How many houses
Here,
are?
No, no, no.
We have the Google machine.
Because I think when you look at it, Brett, we're looking at trying to find out how many homes are out there that people can choose from, and you're just going to pull that number up right there. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
because
total houses in the valley.
total houses in the valley. Because what we're trying to figure out is what do people have for options, and then are they just going to go new because of that reason? Also, average median price home, right? What is are people? How fast is that increasing? Because we're
Fast.
seeing it's fast.
households. 231,915.
There you go.
Well, households. What on the market?
No,
No.
total houses.
Total houses. I'm saying what are out there? What are they selling? How many homes are selling right now?
Persons per
Listed.
household.
Well, I
is
thought we were going to
2.7.
look up how many. Yeah. So
Homes.
how many homes are in the entire market? So we have 231,000 total.
Right.
How many of those houses are on the market? You can look it up with this,
Yep.
right?
So
So let's go back.
Yeah.
So let's
but
look
I
at
just
this.
want to know. Yeah. So you were like 22,000.
No, I'm saying listed on the market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
But I wanted a number to
What?
compare. Like, what is that
Okay.
relevant to?
So we're active and we're going to single family, which means we're not going to be doing condos and we're not going to include townhouses.
Yeah.
Just single family.
Okay.
How many on the market right now?
Let's take a look.
2,441 right
There
down
you
here.
go.
So what percentage of that? Let me get a little math.
A healthy market, in my opinion, is not
A healthy
18,000.
with the amount of people that live here now, there should be at least 15 ,000 active homes in
I
the
would
market.
say a little less. That's just my opinion. I would say
Okay.
9 to 10.
No.
I think that's because look at back in the day when we had all of the
when there were a lot
foreclosures.
less people living here.
Yeah, but the foreclosures, they had like what, 19, 20,000 homes on the market
No,
roughly?
no. There was like 14,000 homes in the market and like 12,000 on
No, when
foreclosure.
the foreclosures all happened.
Yeah, when that was going on, there was like 14,000
So-
homes on the market.
You have less than 1% of all.
Yeah,
of
less than
total,
1% of
Yeah,
all total homes.
regardless, there in a lot of these areas, there's half a month supply on the market.
So let's take a look and see what's going on. Let's show the numbers on. Can you do an average for all homes on the market right now?
No.
You can't do that.
Well, I probably could, but it'll take. I mean,
Take a
that's
while.
2,400.
Let's
Yeah,
let's do Henderson.
Run some
man.
aglism.
Let's look at Henderson and see how many homes are in the market on Henderson. We didn't do that yet. So if you need me to do anything,
Yeah, do your thing.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Go ahead. Let's look at Henderson. We're going to kind of put it out there and see what's out there. See what people are looking for right now.
486 homes in Henderson.
486 homes. Wow. Let's take a look. Can we look at some of those results? Like what's the
Yeah, but
what's,
it won't. It'll only have the.
what's the price? The small.
Hold on.
Well, there's a home right
Yeah,
there for
hold on.
250. Is that a condo?
Let me do this.
That looks like it's a condo, right? Maybe.
No,
No, that's
that's a home.
That's a home.
How much is it listed?
Green Valley, built in 1981, 1,000 square feet,
What-
2-bedroom.
What's it listed at?
It's a foreclosure too. Huh.
Look at
No,
that
it
place
is.
dumb.
I think it is a condo or a townhouse.
What's it
They
listed
have
at?
it listed as single. They have it listed wrong.
So think about it like
That's
this.
the agent.
What's it listed at? 250. I can't.
250, 241 a
That's
square
insane.
foot. 241 a square foot.
For that.
That's the best you could. That's the cheapest you could go.
That's the cheapest. Go back, Brett. Can you
Listed
go back?
May 10th. Yeah, that's why it still sits. Anyways,
May 10th.
yeah. All right. So now we want.
Let's go back and see that. So let's look at the. Can you take an average of the homes here, or can you do that?
No,
potentially?
because there's 486 of them.
Okay.
But what I can do is let's go to the.
Because people want to see, man. They want to know what's out there on the market. They
So
want-
so let's do the cheapest 100.
the cheapest 100.
The cheapest 100.
We're still in Henderson.
Yes. So the cheapest 100. Let's go to here,
Yep.
and then we're gonna go to quick CMA.
And this is everything that a real estate agent goes to. If they're going to go look at it,
Yeah.
look, you could just create a CMA right here.
Is that your photo? Who's that up?
That's
yeah,
that's Big Brett
that's the
Jenny
one
right
and
there.
only, bro.
That's a great
That's
photo.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
I like
it's
the black and-
elusive. It's deceivingly elusive.
the SIFA or whatever tone. Average 341.
And that's 382 was, is that a new home? Is that obviously
Oh, this is Henderson, right?
Well, right? This
Henderson.
is Henderson, but I'm saying when you look at the whole at the valley as a whole, like let's say 380 to 385,
341 is the average sell price, and
isn't that crazy? You go back 5 years, man. The average sales price was
that's
tremendously
for the
less.
cheapest one, man. I mean,
That's the
go up-
cheapest.
so let's go to.
Let's go to the high. Yeah, let's go to the highest one now.
28 million.
Oh, there you go.
Click on that. Click on that.
Brett,
Dragon Peak Ridge, dude. I know this one.
Let's
Bro,
get some pictures on this.
You don't even know what a house is. Do you see in this bat? Look at this.
28. I didn't.
Brett, are you going to make an offer today?
Bro.
I don't want to see the data. I want to see the pictures on this one.
Yeah, that's got to be amazing. Let's see the pictures on it. Can you see
3% commission on that. Oh my God, I'd take off the rest of the year.
You wouldn't show
I
up.
would, dude. I mean, like I'm in Utah in the mountains for like a year, dude.
camped
I swear to God. They ain't got any buyers in here, man. I'll give you some.
Let's see some of the pictures of this. Wow, look at that thing,
Dude,
man.
this is gonna be off the chart. Look at this.
Look at that thing. Wow, that's the highest. Is that the highest? That's the
Yeah.
highest in
That's just
Henderson.
That's just simple living.
Dude,
right
look at
there.
that view. Just simple living. Simple lines.
So that's
Look at that, dude.
that's crazy, man.
That's like when you have that view, you're like, yeah, dude.
That's got to be
I
up
achieved
over.
it.
Like
I
I've
said
seen
Jesus
this on a
success.
show now. Like
If
some
you look
sort
at the
of
outside of that, dude, just that design.
That's got to be up over like that. Your Simply Vegas office,
It's
right?
yeah, it's
That
right.
view?
It's right up right across the street
area,
from
right?
Simply
Yeah,
from our
dude, I
office.
can tell because dude, there's like one over there that like a hedge fund investor owns, and it looks just
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. That's who lives in there, like hedge funds, like
Investors,
owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like
crazy.
people who own hedge funds, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Look at that,
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
dude. That's just look at that, man.
I'll tell you right now too. Like, let's go back real quick. That's
power
just-
bill on that place is probably more than
Who
one mortgage.
cares, man? Dude,
Yeah.
you got full time
I'm
staff.
saying.
I'm gonna run the numbers and get a mortgage.
Dude, I just want to show up and look good. I don't
See
want to
what
have
it
to
is?
take care of the house.
that mortgage would be like 100,000 a
Yeah,
month.
$220 a month.
Yeah, I agree with Deb. As far as that's what I mean, and that's what's awesome about the Northwest, the Skye Canyon. You're like right off of Kyle Canyon Road now.
And they've got a whole bunch of new construction that's
Yeah.
going right in. And it's cool because
Yeah, I
it's,
can totally understand. Dude, that's what I do
direct
like about
access
the
to
about the
Charleston.
Northwest is I go to Mount Charleston a lot.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
and
a lot
they're
closer.
literally
than
putting right
Southwest.
on that
Yeah.
road. So
All right. Anyways, back to
the
Well, what'd you
task
want,
at
dude?
hand. No, let's just go back and see now. Let's look at Las Vegas. Can you encompass Las Vegas or no? Is that a little harder?
where's
Because you look at
where's that old stuff?
Henderson and you look at Summerlin. Those are always the most desirable. I think North Las Vegas is starting to become there. You got Southwest.
Bro, Wayne Newton's house.
It's on. It's on.
Yeah.
Is he still living in that house?
No, 27 million. Wayne.
that's cheap. That's a discount compared to the other one.
Yeah, but he was still living in it, wasn't he? And then they rented it out. So now they're what? They're putting it back on the market. Is he out of there now?
I have no idea.
Look at
They made like some
look at-
agreement.
up here for status. Multiple counters out.
Multiple counters.
Bro, what did I tell you about this market?
Wow.
Multiple counters.
yeah, but
Wow.
you're talking about an entirely different market. With
You know,
does it come with that jet or no?
Wayne Newton, bro. Shenandoah.
Let me say this about that, though.
Look at he's got a
Does
damn
it-
plane, bro.
Does it come with the jet? Is that what he's
Yes.
Dude, it's all part of the
Yes,
plan.
it's all
Nice
part of
perk.
it. Dude, they've got a whole horse. Look at that, dude. That's off of Pecos.
saying? Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go up to Green Valley, it's right off of Pecos, dude.
I don't like the
Sunset,
view though.
Sunset and Pecos. It's
but
right by Sunset and Pecos.
There's no view though.
There is-
Like
there
you
isn't a
can't
view.
see anything.
Dude, look at that.
It's got like its own lake though.
Who cares about that's your view?
I'm
It's
going
got-
fishing out
It's
of my
got a
backyard.
plane. Look, it's got a swamp, bro. You could have alligators in that son of a
man.
bitch. There's where he has a stable and his horses.
Yeah.
Or dead.
I mean, dude, it's a whole block.
Dude, look at
So I
Dude.
mean, it's
Good place
crazy.
for a Memorial Day weekend barbecue for sure.
Yeah, right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That thing is outdated and completely not my style.
Yeah, but you know what? There's going to be somebody out there that's going
Dude,
to
you
take
could tear that down and put up how many housing
I
units?
mean, somebody's buying that kind of house is obviously gonna bring their own.
Dude,
little
yeah, look at that, man.
redesign.
Holy mother of God.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Taxes.
So you look at it out there, Brett. I mean, obviously
Smoke
there's
Tree
not-
Group owns it.
Where are some of these builders starting to break ground? You know, where they're just getting started. Is it a lot of North Las Vegas areas?
North Las Vegas, South Las Vegas.
That's what
I
I'm-
mean, everywhere, dude. Anywhere that there's even, you're starting to see, you know how Vegas, like off of Lone Mountain 215, how they used to have like horse ranches there or
Yes.
stuff like that. Or you're seeing these
215 stopped there
Yeah,
up to
where
like
you
3
see
years
like
ago.
you'll see communities that were put up 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And then there's still like open lots that are like 3 or 4 acres or 10 acres, like just, you know what I mean, all over the city. Those are starting to get bought and developed now.
Right.
By smaller
I
builders.
mean, you have like the valley, and then you have the ridges, right?
Yeah.
That you come into it. They're going over those ridges.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of like Phoenix. That's what Phoenix did.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this show up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap
like a
it up.
condom.
Any last comments? Anything out there? You guys, how about Memorial Day? I wouldn't say day, but weekend. You guys have anything to say about Memorial Weekend?
I encourage everybody to enjoy your freedom and buy Bitcoin this weekend.
How about you, Joe Dragon?
If you enjoy your freedom from money, oppression.
Joe Dragon.
What's the question?
Any other thoughts about Memorial Day weekend? Let's say thank you to all the troops out there, everybody that
definitely.
served,
Definitely pay
and is
respect.
serving. I think it's overlooked a lot, and people think it's just a day to take off. It's time to go shop.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's a reason why there's a day. It's the day of remembrance, right? So
100%.
You got to look at that stuff. You got to look at the fact that why are we doing this? Why do we have this?
We wouldn't be taught
Well, I mean,
listen,
who
if
knows? But
we-
the thing is, they've done.
we'd
when
be
you're in the
speaking
service-
German, long and short of
Yeah,
it. If
these
it wasn't for them.
veterans and these
So,
people that
yeah.
risked their life or in the past or lost their life, this is a big deal. You know what I mean? So, you got
100%.
anything else to say?
Like, pay respects, drink an American, and
Yeah.
hang out with the family, too. you
That's
know?
right.
We don't need to go all the time, right?
What do you think the American beer is? I just have this last thing. Like, if you said out of all the
Budweiser,
beers-
brother. They got
is
the
it?
Clydesdales.
What
You
about-
can't mess with Clydesdales. Come on, man.
What about you?
or Coors. It's a champagne of beers.
I would say, of course, Budweiser, which is made in Germany.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I meant PBR.
I was thinking.
yeah.
What about Keystone?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Keystone.
So let's go with Wisconsin beer because I know it's made in Wisconsin. PBR, bro.
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of PBR. What about Rainier? That's only northwest. You ever had a Rainier? Oh, they're great. You have to go to the northwest. So, anyhow, I don't know how we got off top. But
All right, guys.
Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and
Yes, guys, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you guys be safe out there, and we'll see you on Tuesday. I got a great show coming on. We got a lot of realtors, a lot of information, a lot of different perspectives on what's going on here in the housing market. We're going to continue to put this content out. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio-only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.